Greetings and welcome back to another Our Walk in Christ live stream. I'm still verifying if we're on. I had to start with a blank screen because for some reason my backup image was not working when the cat's not in front of the camera, and now YouTube Studio is doing nothing but spinning at me, so I can't preview what's going on. So I guess let me know, are we live? All right, let's ask you guys the question there, and I'm going to wait for a minute because I have no earthly idea why YouTube Studio is giving me nothing but a spinning wheel. Let me refresh that, see if that will work, and then we'll go ahead and get moving from there. Hey, looks like it's working for me now. Apologies, I was a little bit delayed there. I had to work on something real quick, and it got away from me there. And we're back, and we have to go pretty quick today because we're running a little bit lower on power than we should. So, all right, everyone says we are on. So let's go ahead and start chatting about school debauchery continues. So what we're going to do here is have a look at some of what's going on down there in Loudoun County, of course. And it turns out that if you guys don't remember, a few months ago, this was right before the election, and the election was probably swayed because of all of this crazy woke nonsense that started going on inside of the Loudoun County School District, and that's probably what lost Virginia the election for the Democratic Party, which is kind of good for all sanity. But one of the things that happened right in the middle of all that is there were two explicitly pornographic books that were in the school library that caused a little bit of a stink. And it turns out that the Loudoun County School District reinstated those. But while reinstating those, we have to remember that some of this goes back almost to the beginning of this year when Dr. Seuss was considered problematic. And as we look at Dr. Seuss being problematic, it's not true that it was completely banned. What is accurate is that the reading delay, which is supposed to be there for, hold on a second. My YouTube feedback is giving me 0 again. I need to double check that. We're probably going to restart. No, not that way to kind of restart. There we are. All right, let me double check something here. Let me try this. Yeah, I have no idea why, but YouTube is basically telling me nothing is feeding, despite you guys kind of are telling me things are feeding, and their feedback system keeps on defaulting to 0. So I have no idea if anybody is seeing this show live or not. Are we on? All right. Are we back? All right. I think we're back. I can't tell for sure. All right. Now we're getting excellent, and we're actually getting viewership adding on. So there we are. That, maybe not. And it just dropped to 0 again. So YouTube needs to fix something, or my internet is going wonky. For now, 2 showing, 12 waiting. I think I'm only on for some of the country. I'm going to reset my internet, so we're going to kind of fade out and we will fade back on because if I'm not getting YouTube feedback, I can't verify I'm on. So I'm going to reset the router. Okay, I think we are back. And if YouTube tells me we're not getting anything, I'm just going to go ahead and ignore it this time and say, oh, we're done. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and restart. And I'm going to go ahead and record it. If it team seems to time out, I'm just going to keep going and repost the official one if the live does not go up. All right, so apologize for the delay. Let's go ahead and restart here. Well, today we're talking about school debauchery continuing. And this has to do with the Loudoun County School District. If you recall, Loudoun County School District is probably what lost the Democratic Party, the state of Virginia, in the last governor's election. And one of the central tenets that was going on is these purely pornographic and pedophilic books that were available in the school library for all of the children to see. And this actually goes back even further beyond that. Let's go back actually almost a year to Dr. Seuss being called offensive. Because way back then, Loudoun County decided to remove Dr. Seuss from the feature event of the Reading for Children program that was designed around Dr. Seuss's birthday. And so back in that time, here is a little bit of an article. This is February 2021. Loudoun County School District, it was said that they were banning Dr. Seuss. They weren't banning Dr. Seuss. What they were doing is they were pulling it out of the center of the Read Across America Day, which was created around Dr. Seuss's birthday. Of course, right around this time, the people who control the Dr. Seuss copyrights have said they're going to pull 6 books from publication because they're racist and offensive. So that was one of the first things people heard about in Loudoun County. But then what happened is there was some discussion in a school in Texas that showed a few different books available, and some concerned parents started looking in the Loudoun County School District and found that those books were available. And it turns out that after a period of investigation, it turns out that they decided to reinstate the pornographic and pedophilic books. Because why not? These 2 books, one of those, I think one of them is called Genderqueer and one of them is called Lawn Boy. And so we're not going to actually watch the video. If you go to the Christian Post and find this article, you can see the video of this woman actually reading excerpts from this book, which were so bad the school board cut her off and says, you can't say those things here. She's like, but these books are available in the school library. We'll go ahead and read you a few of the excerpts. Now, of course, the people have reinstated them because there was a petition done and a bunch of godless people said, yes, we would like child pedophilic stuff in our school libraries. And that's what they decided to do. And so here is some commentary. Both books describe different acts. One book describes a 4th grade boy performing oral on an adult man. The other book has detailed illustrations of a man engaging in such things with a boy, and the illustrations include fellato, sex toys, masturbation, and violent nudity. And these are available in your schools, and they might be available in your schools. I'm not going to read these excerpts. You can pause the video and read them yourself if you would really like. And then here's some more excerpts, a 10-year-old boy, and this is all stuff that was available. So they pulled it out to do a review of the books, and this week they just decided that, yes, they would like to reinstate these books because there's nothing wrong with any of this kind of stuff. Of course, there is something wrong with it, as famous musician Billie Eilish had a interview with Howard Stern this week, and she says that exposure to such things at a young age causes nightmares and other serious problems. Now, she's talking about a whole range of things, but a lot of the media caught on to what was said about these things that you can find online. She said the experience left her to say no to things that were not, led her to not say no to things that were not good. It was because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. to be attracted to, she says. She's only about to turn 20, so she's 19. She spent much of her teenage life in the public eye, forged a reputation for wearing baggy style of dress, and has regularly spoken about body image and being sexualized while growing up. This came from the fact that she started seeing these images at the age of 11, and it seriously messed her up. And so, yes, it is very true that when kids can stumble upon all this kind of stuff, it does raise some serious issues and some serious concerns. And so all of that being said, these things they were in the school, people raised attention to it, and they decided to go ahead and do a review. And after a petition, like, 400, 800 students said, oh, yes, we want this stuff in the school. You can't possibly ban books from the school library. They were reinstated. You may as well just go ahead and put the editions of Playboy in there, too. What's the difference? It's more legal than the stuff in the books. To be clear, Playboy is more legal than the stuff in those books, but they are being pushed on these school districts. So after removing Dr. Seuss from the center of the reading program that was instituted around his birthday, they did decide to keep these nasty books in their library. Oh, we can't have that Dr. Seuss, but read Lawn Boy instead. Oh boy. Billie Eilish does talk about these things, and the fact of the matter is this is all part of the plan. Now, there is a book out there by the gay Christian author Greg Coles, who he's like, I'm a celibate gay. I'm not sure if he's celibate anymore. He was leading away from that in his latest books and things, and he left the church he was in to go and work for the spiritual and cultural center. And there was a group in Idaho. They release woke and pro-LGBT stuff for church communities to read, and he's now a writer for them. And he even wrote in his book, Single Gay Christian, he said, oh, well, there's no agenda. I don't know of any of these meetings. Well, yes, there is. You're either willfully ignorant or ignorant. Either you're ignorant, willfully or otherwise. Because this is all talked about by Tammy Bruce. Tammy Bruce, who is a lesbian and a feminist, former editor for Now magazine, which is a radical feminist group in the 80s. She has come out in more recent years saying, hey, the idea, what happens is the gay agenda seeks to addict your children to pornographic materials. She wrote a book. She wrote numerous books. This is her book from a few years back, The Death of Right and Wrong, Exposing the Left's Assault on Our Culture Values. Okay. And this is not some crazy right-wing Ben Shapiro type guy. This is a lesbian feminist. And here is the back cover of the book. If you believe children should be seduced into warped sexual behavior by the gay elite, if you think confessed murderers should be set free by defense attorneys who know how to wield the race card, if you feel promiscuous gay men should be empowered to spread AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases, don't read this book. By the way, I am broadcasting this from the state of California, where it is just decriminalized to intentionally infect somebody with AIDS, but you have to wear a mask to go to the grocery store because of the coof. If you've always suspected that factions on the left are trying to destroy the values that define our civilization, this book proves it. Through chapters of The Death of Right and Wrong, author, activist, and pundit Tammy Bruce takes you inside this chilling world of the left, the place where morals and decency have been turned on their heads and where crisp distinction between right and wrong have been blurred into a mushy gray mess. In this world, the gay elite exploit our children under the guise of tolerance and education to satisfy their sexual obsessions. In this world, the black elite laud convicted murderers as community heroes and award-winning artists. In this world, feminist elites fawn over a woman who mercilessly killed all 5 of her children, and more that will offend you in the sense of decency and threaten your basic views. I will note this book is 2004. When I read the sentence, the black elite laud convicted murderers as community heroes, did you think of George Floyd? Did you think of Jacob Blake? Yeah, this is way before their time. They were still little kids running around when she wrote this. That is how far this has gone. Ms. Bruce smashes the facades of tolerance, understanding, and other leftist slogans to reveal the ugly truth of their agenda. As a gay activist and former president of the Los Angeles chapter of the National Organization of Women, she witnessed firsthand the left's attempt to undermine our millennia-old code of morals and values, aided by politically biased media and academia. And if the news headlines of today are any indication, they're winning the culture war. Unless we act now, we are doomed at the hands of special interest groups on the left who want nothing more than to undermine our ability to judge right from wrong in order to foist their own selfish anything-goes society on the rest of us. This book reveals what they are doing and how they are doing it and what we can do to restore decency in our society. So these are the parts of the agenda. So no, Greg Coles is completely wrong. There is indeed a gay agenda, and it seeks to put Lawn Boy in your local school so that little kids, high school students, can read about 10-year-olds engaging in sexual acts with adult men. But you can't read Dr. Seuss. There is nothing in here that is good. The schools are purely debauchery at this point in time. It's like when I was a professor at Bucknell, they had what they call house party weekend. I asked the student, what is this? He says it's basically a weekend of drunken debauchery. They block all the streets so no kids can drive their cars and let everybody engage in sex, orgy, drugs, and whatever else. Real thing. Really happened when I was a professor there. Happened every year. But now that's moving into your high schools and your middle schools and your elementary schools. The Bible, however, paints a lot different pictures of what we should do. First and foremost, sexual immorality in all of its sorts are inappropriate, and we have to fight against it. 1 Corinthians 6, 13 through 18. Food is for the stomach and stomach is for food, but God will do away with both of them. Yet the body is not for immorality, but for the Lord. And the Lord is for the body. Now God has not only raised the Lord, but will also raise us up through his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take away the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? May it never be. Or do you not know that the one who has joined himself to the prostitute is one body with her? For he says, the two shall become one flesh, but the one who joins himself to the Lord is one in spirit with him. Flee immorality. Every other sin that a man commits is outside the body, but the immoral man sins against his own body. Also says in 1 Thessalonians 4:3, for this is the will of God, your sanctification, that is, that you abstain from sexual immorality. And Jude 1:7, just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, since they in the same way as these indulged in gross immorality and went after strange flesh, are exhibited as an example in undergoing the punishment of eternal fire. That is what we have coming to us if we do not take a stand against all this nonsense. We instead have the responsibility to expose evil and shine light on it. Ephesians 5:11-13, do not participate in the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but instead even expose them. For it is disgraceful even to speak of such things which are done by them in secret. But all things become visible when they are exposed by the light, for everything that becomes visible is light. Of course, John 3:19-21, this is the judgment, that light has come into the world, and the men love the darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come to the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed. But he who practices the truth comes to the light so that his deeds may be manifested as having been wrought in God. These are the things we have to remember. So by way of application, number one, I want you to check your local schools for these books. Any books that normalize and glorify godless conduct and create a network of parents to fight against those books. Get them out of here. There's no earthly reason to have children reading Lawn Boy. Number two, restore godly procedures by accepting positions in local boards and events. The local level is more important than statewide options. I've always had that problem. I don't necessarily vote as much in the local elections. I vote for the presidential elections. The moron in the White House is less important than the moron on your local school board. Go vote that local moron out, because when you had a groundswell, then That is how you can transform things from the local level up to the county, up to the state, and then up to the federal from there. But take those positions. Don't just be like, oh, we'll let somebody else do that. No, take those positions. Number 3, always be gracious, listening, but holding firm to godly conduct. These are things that we have to learn how to do. So that's what I have for you today. Schools continue in their debauchery, and we have to fight against it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, let me read a couple of comments here. Let's see where we're at. UK, cold, dark, I'm old and grumpy. All right. Let's see. I think some of this is just things that are going on before when we were still fighting around there. Also had food welded to my plate. One of them turned out really good. Let's see. LP showing a sunny day at day in Smuffy Smith mooning you. No, what? What are you guys talking about? Jeffrey, what are you talking about down there? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay, now the notification shows up. Hey, at least you got there a little bit late because I was a little late getting started. Let's see. Need to refresh the browser to get it work. Yeah, I don't know. I was on, then I was not on, then I was on, then I was not on. OBS crashed. Normally I type he broke it because I'm the pest or not the pest or anything. All right. Okay, now that we're back, let's see. It's green, it's alive, and the audio sounds cheap. Uh-oh. Ural the Turtle describes this administration perfectly. Dr. Seuss versus Charlie Brown stuff. Rudolph is now banned in the Mid-Central. Yeah. Why? Mid-Central. I'll have to look into Rudolph being banned. Feel bad for Billy. I'm a guy who was exposed to that stuff about the same age as she was. I'm willing, still living with the effects. Absolutely. That's the thing. You don't realize it until you realize that the problem is there. So a lot of people are running, oh, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't do anything like that. Yeah, they just haven't realized how much it messed them up yet. Yeah. World will end in fire. We simply stopped walking toward it and are now running. Of course, it's on God's time. He'll either shut it down or stop it and let it happen. Absolutely, yeah. The world is reserved for fire. Epoch Times has a piece on how teachers intentionally hid their gay-straight alliance group under more vague terms like equality club or equity club. I would say equity club because equity is the term that they're using to tie all this stuff together. But I didn't read the article, so I don't know. I thought Charlie Brown paying Lucy for advice was a bad idea. Libs of TikTok recently tweeted about the Epoch story along with some videos of parents saying teachers coached their daughter into being transgender behind their backs. Yeah. It's Rodham and Gomorrah all over again. Yeah. Like Hillary Rodham Clinton. I don't know. Back then, you just walk away from towns like that. We have nowhere to go. Yeah, I mean, there's some that are still decent, but not a lot. Pre-stream banter. Yes, thou shalt tempt the kitties. I guess I can probably tempt thy kitties. Let's go ahead and tempt thy kitties. Yeah, you're going to be tempted. Are you tempted? 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 Want to turn around so people see more than your butt? Here, do you want to turn this way? Oh. Nope. Go get it. Yeah, you've been tempted, huh? Have you been tempted? Yeah, you've been tempted too. You've all been tempted. Yes, you've been tempted too. All right, guys. we're gonna wrap up here tonight because I need to shut everything down to save some battery power. Want to say good night? Want to say nights to the peoples? Want to say night? Do you? Come on, say good night. Come on, say good night. She's like, I don't want to say good night. There's a microphone there. Come on, say good night. Say good night. All right, she doesn't want to say good night. We'll catch you guys later. We should be back for a daily walk on Tuesday, and we'll catch you then.